Jump up. Whatever. Hello everybody, welcome to Awesome Rusty Bucket. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and drop a like on this video. If you could not tell, Thor is in the room with me because I didn't want to put him in his crate because he did a good job at not using the bathroom in my house for once. So I felt I'd reward him by not kicking him out. Or not putting him in his crate. So he's gonna be sitting here and hopefully he does not run into the camera like he did the first time that I ended up doing that. But today's, or the second video of the day is my reaction to the Lakers versus Bulls game. And then I'm also going to be talking about the Warriors Hornets game that went down yesterday that I attended. And I'm actually gonna talk about that game first, just to keep people on the edge of their seat, because I feel like most people wanna talk about the Lakers-Bulls game, but I'm going to talk about the Warriors game first. So obviously I went to this game because I was like, Steph Curry's in town. I want to see Steph Curry. He's like, can I help you? Can you maybe not? No. Stop it. Steph Curry's in town. Obviously I want to see him. He's like 32, 33, so he's not going to be playing forever. Gotta get the opportunity to see Steph Curry live when I have it, and I took it. And Steph actually did not have the most amazing game in the world. If I recall correctly, he finished with about 22-ish points, and he also shot poorly from three, so that was definitely a little bit disappointing. That said, he finished with 24 and 10 assists. That said, he did throw a behind-the-back assist to, was it Wiggins? All right, dude, you gotta stop snooping around. I'm trying to record a video here. This is very unprofessional. Hey, stop it. Stop it before I put you in your crate. All right, I had to put him in his crate. He was being really annoying. When I first got him, he was very timid, and now he's not scared of me anymore, so he's decided that he's no longer gonna be nice and he's gonna be a dick. So, anyways, this game was very fun. As mentioned, Steph Curry, poorly from 3 for 13, but one of those three-pointers was a, 10 feet behind the line three with Kelly Oubre draped all over him, and he banked it in at the end of the third quarter, so that was really cool. And what was funny about this game is this keeps happening with Hornets games that I go to. Half of the arena is there for the opposing team, and in this instance there was this kid sitting next to me who is a Warriors mega fan. And there's actually a lot of kids sitting around me, and all of them were just crazy for Steph. I know that's a big thing, is that Steph has a serious stranglehold on the youth in terms of popularity. And that's a weird sentence. And this kid was screaming anytime Steph touched the ball, and it was just very funny, a little bit annoying at times, but still very funny. And when Steph hit that shot, the whole fucking arena erupted, and it's like, that has to be a little bit demoralizing if you're the Hornets players and you're hearing the whole arena erupt for the opposing player hitting a buzzer beater. Granted, a reaction of some kind is definitely always going to happen, but that was something else. This ended up being more of an Andrew Wiggins game, an Andrew Wiggins masterclass. I did not drive 3 hours to Charlotte in order to have an Andrew Wiggins masterclass, but that's exactly what I got. A couple of pull-up mid-range shots, a lot of good cuts in this game, and really, Hornets interior defense really fucking bad. Just a lot of instances of them falling asleep, and that resulted in a lot of backdoor cuts, specifically off of passes from Draymond Green, Wiggins, Jordan Poole. I think even Steph got in on that action, and Jonathan Kuminga, who scored 8 points real quick in this game in the second quarter, I believe it was. So yeah, not great interior defense for the Hornets, and that ended up being because of Mason Plumlee, who has been rather disappointing for the Hornets this year, though his playmaking has been good, as it's always been an underrated aspect of his game. Outside of that, though, the Hornets did end up winning this game because Miles Bridges, LaMelo Ball, and Terry Rozier all brought their A game to the table. Meanwhile, they got some decent contributions from other players, but it was primarily those three. LaMelo hit 4 threes in the first quarter and then proceeded to not hit another one for the rest of the game. But Terry Rozier especially had some impressive late game scoring. He had one mid-range shot down the lane that was an and one that was like, how the fuck did you make that, Terry? Miles ended up being the guy who hit a hook shot to give them a 2-point lead, and that ended up winning them the game because then the Warriors missed, or what happened? I think they missed and they got a rebound, and then there was a foul, and then they had a foul to give. So they go to the inbound, ball thrown in the inbound, and then there's a jump ball. Guy gets wrapped up. I think it was Terry Rozier who got wrapped up with Draymond Green. And then they throw the tip. Now, this is a controversy I saw on Twitter. I did not notice this at the game whatsoever, but a lot of people were saying it felt like the tip went heavily in Terry Rozier's favor. Like that ball went like that, not straight up. That's prone to happen, and I'll say it didn't look as bad as I think some people made it out to be, but I will agree that it definitely seemed a little bit too skewed in Terry's favor. That said, ultimately, well, I guess you could say the Warriors still would have won, but I don't know. That's just my thoughts on that. I don't have many, but if you want to argue the Warriors got screwed over a little bit there, sure. But at the same time, you really don't have any business being as good as this team is, losing to the Hornets, who are not bad, but you know the Warriors should be beating the Hornets. Granted, this stuff happens. You don't have to beat up on a team too much for losing a game, but yeah. That's my thoughts on that game. I don't have any thoughts about the Clippers-Bulls game because that game was happening on my drive home. But then, of course, I can now talk about this Lakers-Bulls game. This game just made me really, really, really happy. Like, it just made me happy. Not because necessarily the Lakers, because Jesus Christ, I tweeted that I was happy that my Bulls were going to like, oh my God, people always freak out when you beat the Lakers. Literally, no. I'm talking about the fact that my team is good, and they have not been good in my entire adult life. They have not been good since I was 15 years old. So am I allowed to fucking appreciate my basketball team not being bad? Is that okay? Am I allowed to do that? Good. Shut the fuck up. That interaction annoyed me a lot. The Lakers fans suck. They just do. Anyways, also with the fucking Alex Caruso shit, like gatekeeping Alex Caruso being good, like freaking The Raptors fans were doing the same shit with DeMar DeRozan the other day. They're like, oh my God, these guys think that he's MJ, which the way he's been playing, he might as well fucking be. That's an exaggeration, but stupid shit. People are mad at Bulls fans for being happy, and it's really, really bothering me. I also get comments all the time that are like, well, Rusty's not as entertaining now that the Bulls are good. And it's like, I'm sorry for enjoying myself. Excuse me. Look, at least it's working because I'm angry now. So that's entertaining for you. But anyways, this game, Lonzo Ball masterclass, DeMar DeRozan masterclass. Fine game from Zach LaVine. There was a stretch in the third quarter where it was like, you don't need to be taking that many shots, Zach. You don't need to be taking that shot in particular. I ended up going 6 for 13 from 3, which is good. It's 46%. But there were a couple of threes there that was like, that was too early in the shot clock for you to be taking a shot that wild. One in particular that was like a fadeaway over Anthony Davis out of the pick and roll, and it was like, yeah, that was not necessary. And it was like 6 feet behind the line. Derrick Jones Jr., 3-and-1s, if not more, if I'm not mistaken. A lot of good stuff in the pick and roll. Small ball center. Now, with him in particular, we'll talk about him versus Anthony Davis. AD with 20 points, only shot the ball 9 times. Bear in mind, this is the Lakers without LeBron James, and yet 9 shots for Anthony Davis. Why is that? Well, first of all, he only played 27 minutes, or 28 minutes. But also, the Bulls had a defensive scheme particularly targeting Anthony Davis. Basically, any time that Anthony Davis touched the ball, the Bulls swarmed him, like every time. If it was through a pick and roll, which the Lakers were not running enough, but even if it was that, if he got inside the paint, whole defense collapsed. If he got open for mid-range, whole defense tried to collapse, but especially in the low and high post, anything that was like setting him up for an isolation, immediate double team. And forcing him to make decisions, and then forcing other players to make decisions, and forcing guys to hit their outside shots, and they just were not doing that. The Lakers this game shot 18% from 3 on 32 attempts. 32 attempts, 18%. That's fucking rough. Really, the only guy that could do anything outside of Anthony Davis was Talen Horton-Tucker, who had himself a hell of a game, and really that was more so in the second half as he got more opportunity. I didn't realize he had this good of a game looking at the box score because it was kind of over by halftime, really. Not over, but like a comfortable lead. And then Russell Westbrook, I'd say he had a fine game, but really the scheme was Anthony Davis is not going to beat us, and we don't trust the Lakers personnel to punish us for this defensive scheme, and that's exactly how it went. Lakers had no answer for it other than taking contested deep three-pointers that just were not working. Bulls defense is really, really good, and it's very vindicating to have been right about that. Where I was like, I know the Bulls defense has not been bad the past few years, yet everybody is telling me that a team that improved its defensive personnel was going to be one of the worst defensive teams in the league when they literally were not bad before. It was very frustrating. Here we are now. Bulls are a top 10 defense, and they fucking wrecked the Lakers. AD did get thrown out in this game for a arguably stupid reason. So he got a tech earlier, which I did not realize. I don't know what that was from. I must have missed it or something like that. But second tech, AD loses his shoe. He goes to put on his shoe. And as this is happening, the ref gives the ball to the Bulls to inbound it. And AD feels some type of way. He says, why don't you wait for me to put my shoe on? Apparently, there is no specific rule that says that the ref has to wait for a player to tie his shoe. Now, it's kind of like an unwritten rule, an unspoken thing that's like, hey, this is the nice thing to do, but it's also not strictly a rule that you're supposed to do that. So, AD wasn't necessarily in the right to bitch about that and specifically to curse at the ref about it. Which is, we can presume, is what happened. He definitely was very aggressive towards them. But regardless, got him thrown out of the game, which I don't know about that. And it's kind of the problem with the technical system is that, like, I don't know what the first tech was, but, like, even if you have, like, 3 of those, if it's not something that's actually worthy of being thrown into the game, just because there are multiple of them, I don't know that that necessarily is a system that's, like, worthy of kicking somebody out of a game. Because, like, what AD did there individually, not worth being thrown into the game. I don't know what the other tech was, but I can't imagine that one was worthy of him being thrown into the game. So I just don't know about that. Very, very confusing to me. But yeah, AD thrown out of the game. The one saving grace for their offense with him, and really the only thing that they got going for him, was they were doing pick and pops. But like, that's the thing with Anthony Davis, is the thing that'll always frustrate me is when the mid-range game becomes the game for Anthony Davis. AD is a really serious threat in the paint, in the pick and roll, as a lob threat, just all of that. Anything getting him in the AD at the rim has good results, basically. Whenever he's deciding that he wants to be Kobe every possession, that's when, sure, he can do that, but the team's going to be happy with that result. Like, if AD is taking 15-foot fadeaways all game, you've won. And if AD's taking a couple of pick-and-pop mid-range shots, is it a bad shot? No. Is it AD punishing you for the fact that he's one of the more dominant players in the league? Absolutely not. And that's kind of my biggest problem with AD. That said, I can't give him shit for this game because it was more the Lakers personnel not being capable of dealing with the offense, dealing with the defensive scheme that the Bulls had. A lack of adjustments from Frank Vogel, the personnel not really being there, the lack of shooting. Just an ugly game for the Lakers and a very good game for the Bulls. I ain't talked about their offense all that much, but Lonzo started going crazy from 3 in the second half. DeMar DeRozan continues to shoot well from 3 on not crazy volume, so I'm beginning to wonder, like, at what point do we say that DeRozan's, like, not a bad three-point shooter? 2 for 5 from this one. He's shooting, like, 38% from 3 on, like, almost 4 attempts per game now. 15 games in the year, so at what point... It's not almost 4, it's almost 3, my bad. At what point are we saying that DeMar is a good, not good, but like relative to what we knew him to be, like not a terrible three-point shooter? I don't know. Other than that, Tony Bradley got put in a lot of positions where he had to make decisions in a similar way that Nikola Vucevic would. Not a good idea, Billy. He's not Nikola Vucevic as a passer whatsoever. Resulted in a lot of turnovers. A couple of times had his pocket picked. Threw a really bad pass out of bounds, but not really his fault, just put in a position where he was just not going to succeed. Alex Caruso got a tribute after a timeout. but then shot the ball one time. So I thought that was funny. But yeah, it's just a very good game, and it made me very happy to see my Bulls good. It feels very weird. I'm almost like suspicious of it. Like it's like I don't trust them to continue to be good because come on now. You guys aren't good. This is the Bulls we're talking about. I don't know if I properly emphasized how good of a game DeRozan had. 38 points on 65% shooting. He's been so fucking good this year. Like, Jesus Christ. DeMar might be better than Zach. I mean, we're 14 games in, and Zach has been injured, so I'm not saying it for sure. But DeMar might be better than Zach. Just saying it. Putting it out there. I don't really give a fuck. As long as the Bulls are good, I don't care. But interesting to see. Anyways, this video has gone on for far too long. That is it. Goodbye.